How are you?
I am fine, very well, and happy to
Looks
talk to you after a long time.
a very long time, very
Yeah,
long time. In fact, almost 10 years, right?
almost 10 years. Yeah, yeah.
And it was a great time we had, and definitely we cherished the time we spent together. That was a great time that we had.
Yeah, we learned a lot from you.
It was
I,
both ways. It was both ways. I
good
think
to
I'm glad
remember
that you
all.
feel that way.
Yeah, it was really a very good participation, and it was time when we wanted to get into a different working,
Yeah,
and it
thank
helped
you,
us to
Verender.
transform.
Okay, so you have been basically fundamentally Navshikha Polypack Industries Private Limited was you were the architect and you were the builder. So what?
Actually, that is really. Uh, mm, It was a family effort, if I may say. But
Okay,
yeah, I being the engineer who was actually, I had just returned from Iran
yeah,
because of the civil unrest over there. So there was a need for me basically to re-establish myself. So I had worked on some of the projects in India before going there, and also I took an independent charge of some projects over there. So I had that confidence in me that we could take this change as an opportunity to venture on my own. And also the government was quite keen to get NRIs into uh, launching businesses over here, and they were willing to provide a necessary financial effort and other liberties for startups, like us. So that was the thing that motivated me, and surely it was started by me. Yeah, and there was a lot of running around which had to be done, which was
yeah,
basically to establish what could be a good product which related to our business, means the construction industry.
okay,
And
okay.
it was
So
a
that
in the
led
background
you
of
to
my.
understanding, getting into manufacturing.
Yeah, that
Okay,
that was
okay.
the basic.
That was 1979, I believe, right?
Yes, 78, and I had returned from there, from Iran. That's when the revolution took place there,
Gee.
and I just chose to get out from that place, and
Hmm.
then got a plot of land from the Haryana government, and it was at a very convenient price, and also a lot of deferred payment facility was there, so there was enough motivation to take a chance.
Great, great.
Yeah.
So, what is most amazing, Virender ji, is that the core activity of manufacturing your staple products involved more of mechanical engineering and plastic technology. You were a civil engineer and you pioneered an outfit that had only a distant relationship to your specialization. What would you like to comment on that?
Uh, as I just mentioned, that I was looking out to uh, uh, choose a product which could uh, provide a facility in the building industry, and that was the objective of my, this venture. I had been in touch with the NSIC and the India Investment Center to help us to identify a suitable product.
Okay,
Incidentally, at that time, the government of India had made a plan to supply piped drinking water to the troubled villages, which were
okay.
numbered as 150,000.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there was a big scope for in business in this avenue, this department. But they had been concerned that they should adopt some innovative product so that it could be a quick installation and a trouble-free installation. And this was where the government took the support of the Dutch government, and they had already been using these pipes in Europe and other countries. So they made a trial experimental installation in India, and they had established its suitability. And so NSIC's support was there and advised to us that we could take up PVC pipe as a new product which would be readily accepted in the government sector at least. So
Oh, I see. Oh, I see.
this is
Yeah.
where the impetus was there, that we can take that, there will be ready market for and big volume would be there. So we opted to take PVC pipes, though nobody in the building segment were ready to accept any such plastic product. But
In those days. Yeah.
yeah, because plastic was not considered a very durable, building material at all. Uh, um, with the association with some of the advisors in the raw material manufacturers, NOCIL being one of them, and also the SISI, who were also very helpful in this regard. They gave us confidence that they would give us all technical know-how also, whatever required. So not being a plastic engineer or a mechanical engineer, those mm, handicaps were not confronted by us. We were quite confident that we will be able to establish our manufacturing, and also being an engineer, I could do a lot of analytical evaluations and what is okay and what is not okay and how to go about it. But principally, it was the need, one, and the second was the mm, the feasibility of the product, which was quite good. So we were encouraged to take up this PVC pipe manufacturing. It didn't face too much problem as far as the starting of the enterprise was concerned.
Okay.
But there were other difficulties were there. Yeah, in India, in our country, there's no skilled manpower for manufacturing plastics and such. We are really very far behind on that. So I had to do a lot of self-involvement in learning about with the plastic processing, and also the mechanical engineering, electrical engineering are not such a big challenge really, because you could hire people who would help you and
I'm
take.
sure. I'm sure. Yeah.
But getting into plastic processing exactly was the challenge.
Yeah.
You don't know anything about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. This is in fact my second question or third question, where I want to understand there were huge challenges that you confronted in terms of not only the resources, human resources, but also the growth and development of the organization in those days. But you came about running everything, very smoothly towards the time that we actually started interacting. And
Yeah,
yeah,
it
so
was, it, yeah, sorry.
I think your leadership qualities were something which came into play in a big way.
That's very important really. If you already got the success comes basically when you are able to deal with the people who are working with you. And despite the people, there was no trained manpower available. We we were able to uh, be integrated with the people, make them learn and be transparent with them and be part of their problem solving on day-to-day basis. So that brought a success and stability to the working. Uh, the 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 most confidence was that the government had established its feasibility, and we were, carrying that we will be able to overcome all these difficulties in time, which actually happened. At the start of the manufacturing, which was made in 1980 actually, and not in 79.
Okay.
In 1980, we had established our plant and all the equipment in place. At that time, there was good demand of PVC in the uh, agriculture sector also. So there was all enthusiasm that we should devote ourselves in as best a manner and keep our people educated adequately so that the quality is maintained and the supplies are made in time. So these were things that we had to virtually be part of it our own self. And the difficulty was that we were looking for the government orders mainly, and those didn't happen very easily. So we had to connect with the trade, the
Mm.
open market for flow of our product. That was very difficult because they were
And
not very.
gradually it was becoming more competitive also. The market was becoming competitive also.
Yeah, that is very pertinent that the moment the product caught the popular usage, there it became very competitive. All the big manufacturers of steel pipe, they started manufacturing PVC pipe also. The result was that a small startup like ours was very, very difficult to sustain. But with our, personal involvement, low overhead costs, and, specifically working on a, personalized way of dealing, people gave us a lot of support. We were able to sail through, and over time, we were able to grow, and our volume started growing. And in about 10 years' time, we were almost 3 or 4 times our startup capacity.
By then, the mental blocks towards plastics was also gone.
Uh, yes, it was going, and also there was also diversified applications had also emerged in the agriculture sector where a lot of water transportation, generally there was a need over there
Ji.
to transport water from one area to another, and they had to they were following very wrong methods. A lot of water was being wasted. So
Oh,
in agriculture, this our item was very easily adopted, and we were able to sustain ourselves in those periods. But gradually, when the bigger manufacturers uh, took up on manufacturing this, our problem became providing more volume to the market,
mm.
providing different products along with that. As I said, that in agriculture, the demand was there. Agriculture has different segments, borewell, transportation of water, and there are other tube well application. These were applications which are also becoming very popular. And we had a small plant, small capacity, and so we were facing the need to grow very fast.
Yeah.
So that's where, when we started increasing our volume, we increased our plants year per year. We kept on adding machine, but when it grew to a size, our way of working had to be changed simultaneously. Whatever we were doing by our personal running around our effort, which could not be stretched anymore. So we were advised by our people who were our accounts that we could take, that there is enough, that we could add on more staff into our system, and then we would be able to keep the market covered.
Did
So
this time did this time also coincide with when you wanted to involve us in as
yeah,
consultants with you?
exactly. That is what I was trying to express now, that when it came that we hired more people, we didn't know how to handle them. That was the difficulty, that we were used to doing things ourselves. And that's where, when newer people came in, the interpersonal relations were not so smooth with them, and the customer was getting affected by that. Where we had built a very personalized way of dealing with the customer, they were always feeling dissatisfied on one count or another, short supplies, late supplies, and so on. So that is where we felt that we should, instead of our trying to uh, uh, dialogue with them and make them understand the change needs, we felt that it would be better to go in a different way, in which a professional way of handling them, making them understand the need, and then we got in touch with you. So,
Mm.
that was the point in which your participation was really useful for us.
Oh, okay. So, when we walked into your organization, I mean, when we got engaged and involved with your organization, I think, looking back at that time, do you think there were any takeaways for you?
Yeah, the our market, we wanted to expand our product range, we wanted to expand our market area, and we wanted a better competitiveness uh, to be able to sustain ourselves. All that was very urgent requirement, need rather. And once the people were made to understand a changed way of working, we developed an organization chart which was provided by you, and that we made departments, and department heads were assigned. So they became responsible to delivering on their targets.
Okay,
We
okay,
were able to plan uh, on a monthly basis what would we produce. We were able to maintain our inventories in a more organized manner, and therefore the commitment to the customer was getting better by that. Apart from that, we had to improve our, cash flows, our purchase mechanisms, ordering material in the right time, all those things which finally bring the success in the market were brought in by our revised working, which you had helped us to create. So
yeah,
there, our involvement, our personal involvement on the day-to-day monitoring was gradually then reduced.
receding,
Yeah,
receding.
we were being released, and they became accountable to the plan. They were making the plan themselves, and they were being held
Oh,
accountable
wonderful.
to the
Yeah,
plan.
yeah, yeah. I remember
We
that.
were only going on monthly meetings more. The focus was on waiting for the end of the month to fire on anybody if you want to. So
Yeah,
this was instead of talking to them on a daily basis, that was the big change that we acquired when we were in
G,
touch with you.
G, G. Another thing which is striking, you see, which I remember very conspicuously, that you often ventilated the need to evolve your team so that they could adapt to better systems and methods of work. So you had already got your ISO certification by then, I remember. So
Yes,
I think um, so when we were associated, the interactions that we had was, I think, more to add on to what you already had. And there was a value addition to the ISO systems that you had already put in place. The implementation part, I think, was taken care of very,
yes,
very actively in those
yeah,
days.
yeah. Actually, the ISO was the first uh, um, uh, change that we introduced in our method of maintaining ourselves as a
Yeah.
manufacturing company. And but that was just too dry a process in which people were just filling documents,
Okay.
not really knowing how to use those documents.
They were not involved. Yeah.
Yeah, and no matter how much uh, tutoring we were trying to provide to them, the need, the changes in the way of working that were necessary at that time, they were not able to bring results. So that is where what we felt that if a professional like you and your company staff would be, handling them and ensuring that they get their attitudes corrected, then we would be able to use the ISO's advantage to enhance our working also. So
Yeah.
it was more on the human level where your involvement brought a sea change in their behavior, which we were not able to understand how to inculcate in them, that they had to deal with different segments as departments and respond to each other with a certain respect and regard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So once they meet on a monthly basis, this monthly meeting was a a big change in our disciplined way of operating. That we don't talk throughout the week or throughout the month, and throughout the then at the end of the month, people are made to sit together and see eye to eye with each other, and then they're able to address to each other. And
Mm.
so each one became more authentic in his way of behaving.
Yeah.
So
And
that was,
accountable also. Yeah.
yeah. Sorry,
And accountable also.
accountable. Yeah, our need was to become competitive. We had to increase our volume. We had to add product to it, and we needed time for that.
Yeah.
So in being involved with them all the time and trying to monitor them and push them to achieve the working of production level, the sales level, the accounts level, we could not find it convenient to do it like the way we were doing. So
Yeah.
once they became advised on the necessity of this documented way of keeping track of their working and being accountable to the commitment that they had accepted at the start of the month, then it became an automatic gradual change and an improvement in the way of doing things.
Right. Right.
So things became uh, mm, quite improved insofar as
More under
our
control. More things were
time,
more under control.
yeah, more under control.
The other thing which I wanted to recall, Virendraji, was that you were a great leader to the entire team, and you had been, envisioning the growth that came to you naturally. You didn't have to make any effort to bring about a vision. But you always fought a battle within yourself. I remember that. And because you were fighting all the shadows of sustainability. So, sustainability became the major chunk of challenges that came forth to you, came in front of you when you were, you know, trying to make the organization grow, and you're trying to envision something greater. So I think, would you like to comment on that?
Yeah, that's the main thing that we wanted to uh, be sure that we are able to keep ourselves above the line in all whatever we were doing. But at the same time, the increased expenses, overheads that we had committed ourselves to, required to be more innovative, required to be more refined in our commitments to the customer, and also adding new product before as many products you could add on, you get the popularity in the market.
Yeah, you kept on modifying the products, I remember.
Yeah. So the first thing that the sustainability, if I want to first explain that, was to be with the customer's requirement. First, whatever he requires, as I said, we had started as only manufacturing 1/2 inch to 1 1/4 inch pipes, 1.5 inch pipes. The need of the market grew gradually into 4-inch pipe and 6-inch pipe. That was in the agriculture sector. So for us, the pressure was to come up to that level to be sustainable, so that we are not found short on the sizes that the market requires. So we had to add more machines, commit more capital into the system. And then that became that we must keep on achieving a certain volume so that the additional costs are covered. But then that is where the pressure was on us to how to keep ourselves above the line, as I said all the time. And the other thing was that the newer products are also required, not only the pipe items, but other items. Fittings was another thing which the market was needing. So we added a new line of fittings to our pipe product. So we became a complete pipe and fitting manufacturer. That gave us an advantage, but again, the competition and the commitment as far as the cash flow is concerned became a very big challenge. So the more customers we had, the more vigilant control on the accounts was required to maintain the cash flow. So this is where our need for being devoted onto some of these crucial inputs, resource management, if I think. We were always concerned that we should not fall short in getting the raw materials and not short in the providing the customer the full range of the product range grew a lot. And with that, the inventory control had to be very accurate. Therefore, the sustainability was always based on how careful we were on the customer requirements.
The resources and the costs, basically, the costs had to be controlled. Virenderji, the next question that I have in mind is that you always clamored for more space in the organization, because I remember that you had very, very diligently you were thinking about adding space, because you felt that you were getting cluttered with storage space, and you were getting for stocking your material for finished goods and for raw material that was coming in. You were really gasping for more space. Now you finally, I think, also achieved that, and that was a great step towards growth. But looking back into it now, how do don't you think you needed a lot of resilience, lot of flexibility to do that? How do you comment on that?
See, as we were growing, our space needs were going up simultaneously, but we were a little unsure where and how we should add this space over here. All the innovation that we could do to maximize the utilization of the space that we had in Udyog Vihar, we were unable to meet the needs. So we had in meantime applied to the Haryana government for additional land, which was an industrial area in Bawal. Finally, we did get that after waiting for 3 or 4 years. And fortunately, we were able to build up that facility in a very short time. Construction was surely like a easy thing for us because we have
You,
got good experience in it. So we
that is
quickly
your, yeah,
quickly did the construction part, very cost effective, everything. And we were then encouraged to diversify also in the meantime, because by this time the next generation were also available
ready,
for
yeah.
participation, and it was the opportune time, so that we set up this new plant, and we added more. This is where we got a additional pipe which is used for hot water application.
Okay,
Its plant we imported from Austria, and we installed in this new location. And
okay.
that completed all the application that plastic pipe could be put to use in building and in any application. And we used to say that you can't use plastic for the barrel of a gun, but you can use it anywhere if you want.
Yeah, yeah,
But we were so sure about our quality.
yeah.
This brought us a lot of confidence because new hands were available, new product had been added onto it, and there was some comfort that we would now be able to do more insofar as reaching to further areas in.
Yeah, to bring about this, you needed a lot of flexibility in your mindset also, because there was a different style that you would have had to probably adapt to in
Yeah,
plant and
surely.
things like that.
Yeah, once the staff strength had gone up, we had by now readjusted our way of interacting with our people.
People.
We were only dealing with the department heads, not the people down the line.
Yeah,
This was a a comfort of sort. And then additionally, when we got our newer hands into the business, we were at that much more comfortable. But then we realized that we have to be spectators, not to be actually directing the operations. And that is where a big resistance and a big
challenge.
control of the
Yeah, it
self
was a challenge.
was required, because so far we have been accustomed to putting our hand and neck into everything.
Correct, correct,
But
correct.
at this juncture, we had to then keep away from even coming into contact with the people who are in the
I can
operating
imagine.
side,
I
so
can
that
imagine.
they are able to just fight it out amongst themselves,
Mm,
virtually.
mm.
So we had learned some basics while we were with you, that how to, not to think that you know all the best ways. Let them do it, let them make their mistakes, and then be accountable at the end of the month or the end of the year. If you want. So when these new people joined, our system of working changed to, instead
Yeah,
of end of the month, end of the year. What is the bottom line now at the end of the year? How good or how bad you have been, this the balance sheet will speak.
yeah.
That
You have
was.
been a very hardworking person. I've noticed that. I mean, it's not only the history of the organization, but having observed your way of working at that time when we were interacting, you have been very, very diligent and very hardworking person. Now, when you actually handed over the baton to the younger generation, how did you manage to contain yourself? Because health reasons apart, I mean, I'm not discussing health reasons, but there were other things which psychologically one has to prepare for that kind of a situation. How did you contain yourself at that point in time?
See, our main concern shifted from the operation to government compliances.
Hmm.
There's, as business has been growing, more departments, the vigilance from their side,
जी,
our need to be up on our data accuracy, all were a need, So our focus therefore shifted onto the areas in which we were not hindered by, at least in the actual work, where the compliance part is concerned. We were focusing our attention more on that.
mm,
Me and of course Rajan, both of us, we
right.
were focusing in this area and letting them do. Oh, and one of the son was doing LED lights, the other one was doing pipes. So no interest clash also there.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So there was LED lights. Incidentally, we didn't talk about it. I'd like to mention that when we started, like in pipe, when we started, it was a new product,
Ji,
And
ji.
when we started LED light, it had just been spoken about at the government level as energy efficiency product, And we took on to manufacturing it. There were very few people who were manufacturing at that time, and we were quite enthusiastic and we got good response. But then also the government has been very encouraging so far as adopting light controllers. They want a lot of light controllers because they save street light on
Okay.
street light consumption
Yeah,
through
yeah.
these controllers. So we have been doing a lot of work in that area, and we are got a good reputation to that in
Great,
that.
great to see that. Great to know that also.
So staying away has also helped us because to get their own potentials, uh, and, you know, exhibited by their way of individual way of doing things, has helped us to, you know, grow in diversified field also.
Yeah, so Virendraji, now I think at this stage, you have a very satisfied innings behind you, and you have come to a situation where you know that you have done your best, and these are the innings that you are probably at the best part of it. So the epitome of the innings, I think you had. So I think must have been a great journey. Overall, how do you view your journey?
Very satisfying, I can tell you that because all through we have maintained that transparency with the people whom we deal with, and uh, being compliant to the government requirements have been our forte. That has have been our strength when it came to our employees. They trusted us, though we were new and we did not know how to do too many things. But when we dealt with them in an honest way, they have adhered to us. Those who joined as bachelors retired from our working after so many years, and that is the thing that has kept us in good shape. And also the customers who started with us 30 years ago when we launched our product are still buying from us. So despite the competition, despite all the price wars, they still believe that they can trust us.
That is a big, big achievement. I think you stand tall in terms of business ethics. They
Yeah.
teach business ethics in management schools now, but I think you are a very intense example of business ethics as a case study. If you look at it, I think
Yeah,
it's a
it's
great
very
achievement.
PVC per se is a product which fluctuates so much in price. At least say once in a month, the price changes. And there is a lot of manipulation that people are prone to be doing on this. We
Ji.
never do that. So with the result, as I said, that the buyer also has this confidence that we are there to take care of their advantage. And we always do that, actually do that. Therefore, we are sustaining, though we have not grown to be a very big conglomerate. But whatever we are doing, we have that stability in our working. And whether it's a government department or it's a customer or whosoever, we have we have a good image with them also. They
Great.
believe they are
Great.
not doing any
It
abnormal
makes us
activity.
also feel proud that we've been associated with your company. You know, that is
So
also there. Yeah.
we
So great.
remember you also all the time that when we were just learners, we didn't know how to walk. We were taken by the hand and say, okay, this is how you should do it. Here it is, it is a format. Nobody wanted to listen to us, when
Yeah.
we were trying to tell them, though it was all very in normal talk that we were giving, but they thought that because there is some hidden advantage for us, so we want to change that. But when you are become part of it, the way you dealt with them, the passion you induced in them, that this is necessary for everybody to follow, and
Correct.
then started working like that.
So
Otherwise,
great, great, great talking to you, Virendraji. I think it was, and thank you for your time. You have taken out time out of your busy schedule, and I'm really thankful to you.
I,
As the
I
head of our company, we are thankful to you for
thank you
the
very much.
wonderful time
Always remember you.
and the
Okay,
interactions we have had.
thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Pleasure.